Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. Question and answer time. Anything goes for anybody, anything. Unmute yourself or type in. Go ahead and fire away.
Yeah, go ahead, Ralph, then Megan.
Hey Ralph.
Good evening, Greg.
Hey.
Let's see, got a question on calming down a sternocleidomastoid mastoid.
Okay.
I know you suggested spikenard for doing that. But I don't get a whole lot of immediate relief when I'm using
Spikenard is just to augment. The driving force for calming down the sternocleidomastoid is the lantana. You can do lantana by itself or lantana with anise, going back and forth with the inhalation.
Okay.
You can use anything, we use spikenard for that, like to rub on the neck and the sides of the head and all that.
Mm-hmm.
You can use anything kind of antispasmodic.
Marjoram.
Marjoram, basil, petitgrain, even like things like terebinth. All of those will work, and they're not really the primary driving forces, but they just kind of help take
the edge
like a
off.
little bit deeper what's happening with the lantana and the anise. But if you only had one oil, I do lantana. If you had two oils, lantana and anise, and then that other topical thing is just anything to unwind like tension.
Yeah.
So it could be a dozen things. So if spikenard's not doing it for you, I personally I use time linalool a lot. For a while, I was using terebinth, but the thing that's nice about like spikenard, vetiver, valerian is they're also good for potential muscle imbalances.
Mm-hmm.
And so by applying them over a period of time, if there is some sort of muscular imbalance, either due to inflammation or postural misalignments, then it doesn't do it overnight, but it does it over a period of time. And so you know I would say
Yeah.
do what brings you relief,
Mm-hmm.
but over a period of time you'll probably find that you rotate the things that you use to augment that third piece.
Yeah.
You probably won't keep using the same thing over and over again.
Okay.
You'll use something for a while, and um yeah.
Good. All right.
Yeah.
Myrrh versus three wise men. I've got an old bottle of myrrh from a long time ago when it's finally congealing in the bottom, but I've got lots of three wise men around. In doing inhaling, is three wise men a B choice for just straight myrrh?
For what are you trying to do? You're just trying to treat the endocrine system? You're
Yeah,
treating pain
just an
syndromes?
endocrine system.
Oh, I would say Three Wise Men's probably even a better choice.
Okay.
It's a little bit more broad spectrum. So
Mm-hmm.
frankincense and myrrh combined with each other is a great way to jumpstart all the glands, especially the hypothalamus.
Mm-hmm.
Myrrh will do it by itself. Frankincense will do it by itself. Patchouli will do it by itself. But I like frankincense and myrrh mixed together to do like a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
When we did that class, we were unwinding the aspects of the will to further enhance the function of the endocrine system and the glands.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like when you're getting that specific, I would actually use oils one at a time. But for just general everyday use, I mean, for me, like I do a dose of Three Wise Men, and then I follow it with like lemon verbena,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I mean that's usually about it. Every once in a while, I'll throw a little something else in the mix, but I just keep that rolling with that, and
Okay.
man, I always feel better when I'm doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So if I get a small myrrh roller ball, will that work for inhaling as well
For
as
for
the
inhaling, like if you're
yeah.
really wanting to work the glands, I would either inhale it a lot or take it internally. And
Okay.
so, same with the Three Wise Men.
Yeah.
And I don't know that you need to do both, but if you have one or the other, and Three Wise Men is like kind of the fancy version, like a lesser expensive version of that is just the blend for frankincense and myrrh.
Yeah. Somehow I wound
And
up with 4 bottles of frankincense or 3 wise men, so
yeah,
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I enjoy those. Yeah, I mean they got a bunch of fancy frankincenses in there and a couple of
Yeah.
different myrrhs and yeah.
Okay. So I'm specifically looking at myrrh when like we're trying to unwind specific things.
Myrrh
Since
is good for that. Myrrh is actually also good for muscle imbalances, and myrrh is also good for pain syndromes. And so
okay.
that's why I was like, what are we talking about? And you know, even recently for me, I use myrrh on the whole body just to do a deeper purification to prepare for like meditation and practices like that because
Okay.
it is very purifying to the connective tissue,
Mhm.
the fascia. It's not necessarily releasing the fascia, but you could say, how we were doing the body wisdom class, and we were doing combinations like the outer thigh and the mid back and then the back of the neck, and you're
Yep.
working the connective tissue or the fascia and the triggers that are associated with it. Another way to say that from the pH point of view would be um, you're releasing elementals from the body.
Okay.
And not everybody has that perspective, but
Mhm.
knowing your background, I mean, I think that makes sense for you. And myrrh is very good for purifying the connective tissue and the fascia of elemental activity. Sometimes when you have a lot of divine energy come in, part of the issue is the fascia, like depending on how, like, toxic's not the right word. It's not that it's toxic, it's just
Contaminated.
contaminated, but it's like so last week or so last month or so last, you know what I mean? You're not,
Okay. Yeah.
your connective tissue isn't like where you're at now, but so 5 years ago, or however you want to say it.
Hmm.
And it's just a way to let go, because it's not always necessarily even like bad stuff. It's just stagnant or stale or old or
So last week.
so last week. And if you think about what elementals are doing, they're part of the process that is involved with repetition. And so your body has drives to be repetitive in nature, to establish a state, and which is fine. There's nothing wrong
Mhm.
with that. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Then when you're doing meditation, it brings in an essence which is more spontaneous. And so at some point and somewhere in the body, those two things start to bump heads, so to speak. And the place where they usually bump heads is in the connective tissue.
Okay.
Like what people call congestion,
Hmm.
like in a different circle, you could say, you know, you could say tight fascia, but it's not even tightness. It's more of just, like I was joking about, like that was so 5 years ago. It's just like kind of patterns that are in the connective tissue that are a bit repetitive in nature, that it makes it a little harder sometimes for the energy to integrate and for us to shift.
Yeah.
And so, if you've been doing all the classes, it's in better shape than the general public, but it's always an issue.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like if you think about with like pH and you're doing your meditations, what do? You do exercises before and after. Part of it is to do the same thing, is to release the congestion and that energy build up from the last weeks, months, years, whatever it is. And so same idea, you know.
All right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Good talking with you.
Good chatting with you.
And then go ahead, Megan, then Linda.
Hey, Miss Megan.
Hey, Greg.
Hey.
So I have a new client. We're going to do essential oils, and she has kind of a mysterious case a little bit. Some of the
Okay.
health issues she already had that I'll list, but
Okay.
In July, everything kind of fell apart when she got bitten by a crab. It was really strange, her finger. And the doctor said nothing was wrong and it was all in her head, but she started to get super tired. She just felt like she had an infection. They tried antibiotics, it didn't do anything. She has a chiropractor who says it's a fungal infection. I don't know if she's like really still feeling necessarily like sick or infected, but she just like she said by September she was almost bedridden. She just got really super exhausted. And then she'd already had a heart condition. It's called premature ventricular contraction.
Okay.
And some energy healer said she has adrenal fatigue, but she didn't have that tested or anything, and just sleep issues. So it kind of all got worse at that time, but she doesn't know if there actually was an infection or it was kind of a coincidence or
Yeah, it could have just freaked her out. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, was there any kind of story around the bite itself? Like, she was there with friends, or it was super traumatic. I mean, being bitten by a crab is odd and weird by itself, but
yeah.
was there an
She didn't
extra
say
like
actually. Yeah, so
weirdness?
I don't know, but and then it doesn't even hurt. Like I think it did at first, but it's not hurting, but it does the finger looks bigger than her other finger. Like,
Oh, it
but
does.
I don't
Okay.
know if it looks swollen necessarily, but it's bigger. And she just had an MRI for the finger, and I don't know what that's gonna say, but
Okay. And so, any other health issues that she's aware of or that she's brought to your attention or?
so in the past, Epstein-Barr, she's recovered
Ah,
from that. And then
yeah.
she has heartburn, dehydration, and she's lost weight, can't keep weight on. Anxiety. Yeah, and that's it.
Okay. And does she get sweaty a lot?
Didn't mention that.
Okay. Boy, that's an interesting one, Megan.
Well, I can say I've done 3 pranic healing sessions on her and she's loved them. She's felt much better after each one. And I'm just doing really basic cleaning
Okay.
stuff. So I don't know.
Hmm.
Like I just cleaned the spleen a whole bunch and just basic stuff. And she's like, I feel good. I feel like more myself again. And
I'm going to say that the bite probably freaked her out a little bit more than she even realized.
okay.
It's hard to gauge because, like you said, it was a crab bite, and it's not like it's poisonous or anything. But
Yeah.
I mean, she could have had a little bit of allergic response, like the doctor said, could be a little bit like fungal or that's always when I look for fungal, one of the things that I look at is like and not endocrine function but exocrine function. And so I don't know, like the sweating could be a thing, like they'll sweat a lot, they'll sweat at odd times, not like when they're exercising, they'll just start getting sweaty for no apparent reason, and it's not always all the body parts. That can also mean an autonomic dysfunction. But I mean, I think, like you said, like it potentially might be in her head or something. And it's such a weird thing that, I mean, there's always the potential of that. And then you complicate that with past Epstein-Barr, issues, even though they might be resolved, still, um, let's treat it like this. And so you are going to use oils, you said?
Yeah.
Um,
And I want to address her heart too.
yeah, yeah, I like that idea as well. So does she have blood pressure issues or no?
It was low and now it's better. I don't know when it was low, but in the past she had low blood pressure. She's had some panic attacks. It's not all the time or really frequent, but that's another thing that happens sometimes.
Okay. Let's do this. Do you have larch?
Yeah.
So let's have her have her inhale larch, and there is going to be this pattern that actually is in the class when I'm up there with you guys, but let's just break it out right now. So the larch inhaled on first the sex chakra,
Hmm.
then the navel, and then the front heart, and then the back heart, and then the crown. So you're doing sex, navel, front heart, back heart, crown. So that's probably going to make something flush out. It's most likely going to flush out of the front and back heart. But basically what you're doing is you're processing like the path of instinctual responses.
Mm.
And so the instinctual response is hitting the sex chakra, so it's interacting with the environment, and then it goes to the chakras that have to do with sensitivity. So first it would hit the navel, and then from the navel it goes up to the heart, and then usually it would hit the forehead if you look at the tree of life, but really more than the forehead, it's the brain. And here, I mean, you can have them do the brain, but a lot of times I just have them do the crown chakra. And so you can have them do that with the oils, have them do that with larch, and then I would go through and still do pH on those situations with electric violet, clean the same centers the same way, like just sex,
Okay.
navel, front heart, back heart, crown. And if you're doing healing, after the crown, get into like the brain on each side in between the hemispheres a little bit, and then go back to the crown. And so that's not going to make up the whole session, but from there I would do that maybe a couple cycles, right?
Okay.
Then and you have like LOC or assemblage point, something like that.
Yeah, I'm not seeing her in person, so I'm giving
Oh,
her, I'm doing like a consult, and she's gonna place an order, and then we're
oh,
gonna
got you.
Zoom, show each other or show her how.
Okay. Have her get okay. So instead of having her spend the money on LOC, let's just have her use galbanum.
Okay.
We'll have her do galbanum. And there you're going to work the three brains, but you're going to work them opposite of what we're talking about. So instead of going from the bottom up, you're going to start at the top and work your way down. So you're going to do the brain, then the crown, and then you'll do the solar, and then the back heart, and then the sex and the Ming Men. And this breaks down thought forms that are in the psyche, it breaks down thought forms that are in the body, and it breaks down thought forms that have come from like situations in the environment. Like, so even like what people would call psychosomatic, this would even fall under that, because psychosomatic is really thought forms that begin to impact the nervous system. And so you're basically just unwinding that. And most likely she'll find that very, very soothing, like very, very soothing. The thing that's nice about that is it's very soothing, and it doesn't really stir the pot for something to come up. It just takes out the garbage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then I would just throw in any other things that you kind of been doing that you like she probably needs her, cords cut or solar plexus cleaned, the aura
Yeah.
cleanse, just meat and potatoes, things that need to be done. But I would do those two things either at the beginning or middle end. It doesn't really matter when
Okay.
you're doing a session with her. But my guess that even if there was some sort of weird psychological reaction to that, because that's kind of weird, like a crab biting you. it's a weird visual, it's a weird situation, you know, who knows, like she might have been relaxing and her guard was down walking on the beach. I don't know how it happened,
Yeah.
but it's not one that you see coming. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so who knows what that kind of triggered a little bit. And so like when you don't see it coming, it almost freaks you out a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I would say just kind of unwind that and just help her to get to a place that's just back to her normal. So working the three brains from the bottom up, you know, just basically going sex, Ming Men, solar, back heart, brain, and crown, that actually should reduce her anxiety. And so you could do it with galbanum or spikenard, or you could do it with aloes, but she might be okay with just doing it right off the bat with the galbanum or like spikenard, something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I
And
keep it really simple. Like
mm,
you know, keep it simple, see how she responds, and then if she needs more, you've already set the pattern to go deeper with using different things. But um, any time you work the three brains, it's going to accelerate the healing process, be it physical, psychological, you know, whatever's going on. It will always help accelerate that process. So, you know, if it needs still a little bit of tweaking, whatever you do is most likely going to stick better,
yeah.
you
Okay.
know.
And do you have a suggestion with oils for the heart issues too?
Now remind me of her. Oh, the
Premature ventricular contraction.
I mean, honestly, I would probably not even oils. I'd probably get her to increase potassium in her diet or to take a potassium supplement.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, potassium, like even when you get capsules, it's not, it's usually like 90 milligrams or 99 milligrams. I mean, I think you could probably get around it by, you know, increase the intake of like some bananas or kiwi or, you know, something that's already high in potassium. But if she wants to supplement, just probably like a capsule a day, not even very much. But
Okay.
I think that actually, when I look at her, it looks like there's a little bit of imbalance between the salt and potassium in her nervous system, which would translate into weirdness with the heart pumping.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting. Okay.
but I wouldn't go too extreme with it. Like just keep it really gentle, and if she's not responding, then we can look at some other things. I mean, sometimes there's just weird genetic predispositions, or maybe, you know, something happened to the heart at some point.
Mhm.
She's never had a cardiac event of any sorts, right?
No, I don't know if some types of panic attacks would
Yeah.
qualify as a cardiac event. She said she
Well,
had one really long, like hours long panic attack that just like lasted a really long time. I don't know.
yeah, that's probably more that just her heart gets up and going, and you know, if she had low blood pressure, she could still have very high pulse. Um, I would start with the potassium, just a low dosage. Now, hyssop is very good for low blood pressure. Like it will help to normalize that, so that could be worked into to what's going on.
Okay.
But um, normally there's different things that I would throw at it, but I'm not really getting a big hit on anything. If there was a cardiac event, there's an herb called Arjuna that I'd say let's throw that in the mix. But I'm not really even seeing a need for that. I would just say let's just see what the potassium does and go
Okay.
from there. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. And I'd be curious, even if you don't know now, like ask her what her stress is, and then just, it's not even so much what she says, but just pay attention to like how she says it. Like, when somebody's like really stressed out, even if they go, oh, not a big deal, but you can tell like they're stressed out. You
She
know what
has
I
some
mean?
family stuff that she is stressed out about.
My guess is probably just cleaning up some stress.
Okay.
And so, I mean, it still doesn't look like the cause, but it would help.
Her mom lives half a block away from her, apparently, and she says she's a very, very difficult, unhealthy person in her life. So that's going on.
Is her name Bob by chance?
It's Mama Bob.
Mama Bob. Clean her cords a lot between her and her mom.
Okay.
That's probably a bigger issue than we both think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
Do
a
do
side question on that.
do
Yeah.
that, and then blue the mom. Like, just like every time you do a session on her, blue the mom at the very beginning, just so it calms down the interaction of their energy body. Because some of what might be happening is if the mom's like super entwined in her field, it doesn't have to be a relative, but it makes it harder for you to go deeper and clean things out. Her mom could use a very good bluing, if you know what I mean.
Okay. And there's an X as well.
I'll give them a little blue too.
Okay.
Mom's probably a bigger issue than the ex, but still, after a couple of times, you probably don't need it. But like when I look at mom,
Yeah.
lot of this, like
Okay.
intermixing of their energy bodies. And so sometimes you're dealing with them managing the energy of somebody else.
Yeah.
Not even so much their energy field. That's why probably like when we look at her, it's just kind of almost like a blank. It's not really her.
Mm,
It's the mom.
okay.
No, it's okay. Like life happens, things happen. It's not that big, but still, it makes it easier to treat it when you know kind of what's going on.
Yeah.
If you scan like the tension coming from the mom, it's pretty big.
Okay.
So blue will
Awesome.
take care of that.
Awesome. Great. Thank you.
Quick question on that still. If the person's willing to do etheric chords in between sessions, is that
Yeah, that would
okay?
be great. Yeah, that would actually be ideal.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, etheric chords is, it's one of those ones where even if you know how to do it energetically, it works so much faster than cleaning chords. It's just like I laugh because I'll be cleaning chords and I'm like, why am I doing that?
Yeah.
It's just so
Some of
fast.
the things I'll just ask the clients, like, can we just get you this essential oil?
Yeah,
Because I could spend an hour on this, or you could
right.
spend like 5 minutes just inhaling.
Exactly.
Not everybody wants to do what I want to do, though. But it's okay.
Yeah. Well, good. Yeah, let me know how it goes with that person.
I will. Thank you.
And then go ahead, Linda, then Jan.
Hey, Miss Linda.
Hey there, Greg. First, a quick update. You gave me a suggestion on hip osteoarthritis to use the joint relief.
Joint relief?
Yeah. And I put it in a roller ball for her and she started using it and it really made a big difference for her and gave her a lot of relief. So she's probably headed towards a hip replacement, but that's going to be like 9 months out. So
yeah, but even if that's the case, that will keep her more comfortable. It would keep it more hydrated and it will reduce the spasms. And then if she ends up with the hip replacement, it will help her to recover quicker. Like there's like so many good reasons to use it. I mean, any time there's like a hip issue, setting aside like maybe sciatica or something, but when it's like a hip socket issue, that stuff is just worth its weight in gold. It's so helpful.
Yeah, it's been really, really great. And then she's also still been using the German chamomile also.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So between the two, it's really helping her. So thank you so much for that.
You're so welcome.
Yeah. Now I have a friend who is 76 years old and has recently started to have a real problem with tinnitus. And it's a
Okay.
very high pitch and it's really, really disrupting her. Any recommendations for that?
So is she on any medications, or is she taking like a lot of ibuprofen or anything like that?
No, she is on an estrogen blocker
Okay,
for
that shouldn't be an issue.
okay, and then she does take blood pressure medication.
Okay. Is her blood pressure been pretty regulated these days? Or?
Yes, it has actually. Yes,
Okay.
in fact, they just
And-
reduced it for her.
Oh,
Yeah,
tremendous.
yeah,
And how's her balance? Like when she's walking, is her balance okay? And
yeah.
okay, so I would probably use some form of sage, and you could just have her inhale it. If you want to go a little deeper, inhale it on with awareness on the brain, and then on the ear canals. That could be good. The other thing that is always a potential is, so for one, inhaling it in the ears, there's this little joint that's in the kind of the middle of your head or the back of your head called the spinobasilar joint. And it's what like your brain sits on, the bones that your brain sits on, and then the back of your head. And they have very slight movement with the movement of cerebral spinal fluid circulation. And so sometimes, like any joint, it can have a little bit of an issue, get stiff, get stuck, and that actually can cause tinnitus. Because tinnitus isn't really the ears themselves, but it's like the neurotransmitters of the brain being thrown off. And so the sage usually helps that. And if there's an overstimulation of nerves, sage also helps to calm that down. So the sage really kind of nails 2 or 3 different reasons why the tinnitus could be happening. The other issue is that potentially, if there's an inner ear issue, so there would be usually like a little bit of loss of balance or like an abnormal gait, like when they walk, they kind of go like this, or every once in a while a foot goes out to the side.
That she has. Yes.
Okay, so I would say still do the sage and then do lantana, like inhale the lantana, because that is the issue is probably coming from what we'd call the sternocleidomastoid. And that just needs to be unwound for a while. And even if you use medications and things to try to reduce the tinnitus, it's just going to come back because the sternocleidomastoid is so wound up. She could get away with just inhaling it, even if she doesn't direct it to like anywhere in her throat, it will still unwind the throat quite substantially. And so I would definitely start with those 2 things. And we could add other things, but I'd say let's keep it simple. Let's see if this brings her some relief. But the lantana, it will be a bread and butter thing for her to use for a while. The sage will, it's a neuroprotective. It addresses brain fatigue. It deals with the overstimulation of nerves, especially sensory nerves. And it helps to regulate neurotransmitters. It helps to unwind that joint in the head. And so those 2 things are very good 1-2 punches for addressing tinnitus. But, there can still be other reasons, other causes, but that she has that abnormal gait, it's almost, I'm 90% sure it's probably the sternocleidomastoid.
Okay.
It's such a thing in people. Like, there's 3 muscles that are really like things that in osteopathic, at least when I was doing stuff with osteopaths, whenever we deal with any sort of like dysfunction in the body, we'd always check the sternocleidomastoid, the diaphragm, and the psoas. Like before we did anything else, it was like regardless of what they said, we're going to check those 3 muscles, see where those are at, and then everything else we'll start addressing. But those need to be regulated. And that she has that abnormal gait, that's not just a little bit of an acute issue. That's been there a while, and so it's building up and causing the ringing. So just go through and treat it. And I mean, she should start having relief within a week or two. If she starts doing it, she'll probably have relief the first night or two, but long-standing relief will start to happen after a week or two.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, the gait thing has been happening for months.
Yeah.
That's been a
Yeah.
precursor. And now that you're saying that, it's like
Yeah.
it's probably a precursor to it. And when
Yeah,
I
it's a,
took
it's a
the,
precursor, and then also given the age and everything, we want to minimize the loss of balance, because like they might be okay like walking and sitting, but like they might be bending over in the bathroom and then get a little top heavy and go over, you know what I mean? Like if the abnormal gait there is there is the potential for there to be an equilibrium issue at some point, and given the age, let's just nip that in the bud so that's not an issue.
yeah, that's great. Just today, she
Yeah.
was telling me she's so concerned about losing her balance. Exactly. She's like trying to
Yeah.
be super careful about
Yeah.
not doing anything that, might throw that off. So
Yeah.
that's perfect.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Like
I have Sage Supreme. Is that a good sage for her?
yeah, that would be perfect. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
I have
totally.
that and I have the Lantana. Okay,
Perfect.
perfect.
Yeah, get her on it as soon as you can, and maybe give me an update in like a week or two.
Okay, I will. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Jan, then Sonia.
Hey, Jen.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. How are
Okay. Hi. I sure enjoyed the class this past weekend.
Oh,
and
good. Thank you so much.
I enjoy all the classes.
You're very sweet. Thank you.
I wanted to ask again about bone on bone knees.
Okay.
Let's see. I've been using the joint relief ointment
Okay.
with the licorice,
Great.
and I'm getting ready to order some more, and I just wondered if you recommended the licorice over the other just joint relief.
So the regular joint relief, like when it's an essential oil, I mean, you could put it on neat, but for something like this, it actually does better when it's in an ointment, because the ointment holds the essential oil in the area longer, so you get a deeper therapeutic effect when you put it on with oil on the joint. Like if you were to put it on neat, it would hit that area, but it would start to go to other areas, and even more so with alcohol.
Mhm.
And so with doing something like that, the licorice enhances the impact. It has like a steroidal, like a steroid effect
Okay.
on the joint. And then the joint relief increases circulation. It helps blood move out of the area, blood and lymph. And then it has an antispasmodic effect, and it just keeps that area as hydrated as possible. So that's always good. Secondary, if you wanted to augment that somehow, if does the knee seem inflamed or achy or like?
Yeah, they're achy, and I think they're both pretty inflamed.
Okay, you might want to do like either like a blue healer like liniment, or get some like German chamomile and put some on the area. You can
Okay.
do it in an ointment, but if you do the liniment, you could put it on, let it dry, and then just put the joint relief over the top of it. Because they'll go in at different rates, and they really won't mix or interact with each other too much. And the goal would be to reduce some inflammation. The reason German chamomile is good here is it does a little bit more for like metabolic cleanup. Like it helps clean up the area from inflammatory materials and just, inflammation. And, it's what you would use even post-infection, just to clean up the body, after the fact. And so you can use that. It would still stimulate lymphatic movement somewhat. The joint relief is stimulating lymphatic somewhat, but one of the things when you are dealing with like bone on bone, be it hip or knee, is you want to stimulate lymphatic movement. But with those couple things that you got in play, you're probably okay. But you just want to keep it contained so that it doesn't start to spread to the other parts of your body. Like one of the things that you look before is that, you know, your knees feel inflamed, but if the inflammation and the achiness starts to spread to, like, you know, your shoulders and your neck and your feet, and, you know, it's like starts spreading out,
Mhm.
the inflammation's getting a little out of control. So
Right.
you need
Yeah.
to really kind of double down on that. So
Okay.
you could do it topically, or you could, instead of using that topically, you could take and use like black cumin and take
Mhm.
like 3 drops. And for this, I'd say twice a day. And
Twice a
yeah,
day.
very,
Okay.
very anti-inflammatory. It keeps things moving. It helps the healing response in the area, you know, but it does
Mhm.
reduce the inflammation. So you
Okay.
could use black cumin, you could use turmeric, you could even use ginger internally for something like this. And
Hmm.
so I would say black cumin is nice because it's easy on the system. You can take big dosages of it. It's
Hmm.
very gentle. You know, if you needed to double down on it just to reduce inflammation, you could do that.
Mhm.
So you know, you could do either topically or black cumin internally. So however you'd
Okay.
like to do that, yeah.
Okay. And along that line of those different oils, I was reading the methods of application
Mhm.
this morning, and I saw the uh, vinegar. I mean, I've seen it before, but I reread the part about vinegar. It's
Mhm.
supposed to uh, take the oils in pretty quickly. It
Yeah.
sounded like yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
So, is that something I could do too? Is use
Yeah.
vinegar and
I
it,
honestly, I would probably do a good, like, the ginger tonic.
mhm.
That would be a great application for that. Like
Okay.
the apple cider vinegar is very good for you, and then getting that ginger in, you know,
Mhm.
Samantha makes that, and she puts in you know, she does an extraction with the ginger, but then we get this really high end CO2 ginger, um,
Mhm.
and we add, you know, she adds that to the tonic as well, and so that could be you're taking the ginger internally to reduce the inflammation in the joint and just keep everything moving, and, you know,
Mhm.
minimizing the impact of that being something that becomes systemic, you know, which just means it just goes all over the body.
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So and what about just using like white vinegar? Is that
I would probably do apple cider vinegar.
okay?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then I could use one of the ones you were talking about, German chamomile or blue. Well, uh, let's see. And so apple cider vinegar and German chamomile, and then I could do that topically and then let it dry and then
Oh,
cover
yeah,
it with
that would be great.
oil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you could stand the scent of the vinegar. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And one other thing that the last time I had an MRI, it showed
Mhm,
there's a lot of osteophytes in the knee area.
mhm.
Is that something that maybe Arthrocare and vinegar would
Yeah, the
work on?
Arthro would be very helpful for that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Um, oh, just one other question. I
Mhm.
had one of the classes a couple of weeks ago, and I'm sorry I don't remember which one it is, but we were doing something with sage, and it was just a really good experience for me. So I want to order some more. I was using Spanish sage, but I
Yeah,
was
that's
wondering
great.
if is Sage Supreme maybe a little.
Sage Supreme is all the sages mixed together. So
Uh-huh.
that's, you know, because some of the sages are a little fancy, and
Mm,
yeah, so you could use the Sage Supreme. That would be a great way to do it. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, thank you very much.
You're so welcome. Keep us posted though.
Okay, I will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then just somebody's wanting some clarification, which body tonic to use first and let dry. I just want to make sure it's clear. Any body tonic or liniment, you
Mhm.
apply that first,
Mhm.
let it dry, and then you apply the ointment.
Right. So you could do that as a 1-2, but here we were saying use Blue Healer body tonic, let it dry, and then put the ointment on following. Yeah. You know, with like situations like with what she's dealing with Jan's dealing with, is when it's bone on bone, just any movement, especially when it's weight bearing, because it's bone on bone, generates like inflammatory material. So it really becomes about managing and keeping the inflammation down so that it doesn't cause other problems in the body. You know, like when I was young, you know, like her situation, this isn't an issue. So I don't want to imply that this is what she's dealing with, but I had inflammation in my knee so bad that the inflammation formed its own blood supply and turned into tissue. So they had to go in and cut tissue that had started off as inflammation, but had actually turned into like a kind of connective tissue. And so, you know, there's lots of reasons why to keep inflammation down. But when it's really super chronic, and, you know, I was being a goofy dope, and even though I was in pain, I was like, yeah, I'll just keep doing this same thing over and over again. And there was a lot of repetitive movement that was weight bearing at the time. And, you know, I caused that issue in my knees. And so it had to be surgically addressed because there was just no breaking it up. It had turned to tissue. And so when you have issues that are bone on bone, for Jan, the issue is that it could become systemic. Like you're dealing with the knees and you're kind of feeling okay, but then all of a sudden you're like, my shoulders don't feel good, my neck doesn't feel good, my, you know, and it's just, it starts to be like that inflammatory material just starts to go all over the body. So that's the thing for Jan that we're trying to minimize and keep just really localized in the knee and make her comfortable, but keep it from spreading throughout the body.
They're wondering as well, is it the same idea with just the oils neat? First you put a lightweight oil, then a heavier oil?
I mean, oils go in at a little bit different rate, but when you're doing neat, you just still got to give it a little bit of time. I would do it like neat, and then an ointment, or neat and like alcohol base, you know, like a body tonic or a liniment. So
And go ahead, Sonia, then Christina.
hey, Sonia.
You hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. You were going to speak to some therapist about that malleus.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance. We just got home late last night, so
Okay.
I'm going to try to do it this week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But thanks for the reminder.
Yeah.
It's always
It's on my list, but yeah.
And then go ahead, Christina.
Hey, Christina.
Hi, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm great, thank you. So in the past, you talked about nerve help for diabetic neuropathy.
Yes.
Would that work for diabetes in general?
More for the neuropathy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would there be an oil? I'm thinking of a foot bath for a client who has
It would be hard. Like I would stick with just treating the neuropathy. Like to treat the blood sugar issue, you would have to do it over a period of time, and it would have to be mostly internal. There wouldn't be a way to really address that with a foot bath. But you know, one of the things with the diabetes and things of that nature is like things like neuropathy. It can affect circulation, and it can also make the body very acidic. And so, you know, basically, like people who are diabetic have a much bigger need of like things like vitamin C or quercetin, you know, things of that nature. And so, ways that you could augment that is I would do nerve help as the bath, but even having them inhale, like while they're doing the bath, you could have them inhale like something like lemon. That potentially will, it's not a long-term fix for this with just a single inhalation, but the lemon will elevate the pH.
And would there be a recommendation of how many sessions I know it's a long-term issue. But,
are you talking about the neuropathy or the?
well,
What are
it
you
would be
trying
the
to- what would
neuropathy
you-
since we're talking about
Yeah,
that.
I would treat the neuropathy, and honestly, it's really hard to gauge with that because it depends on how out of control the diabetes is, but also neuropathy can be impingements in the nerve, like the spine and things like that. And so, if you wanted to try to minimize that, if you let the thing with the pH thing go with the lemon, you could have them do nerve help, and then you could have them inhale either hyssop or marjoram, just to unwind and relax the spine. And that potentially could help take some of the pressure off the spine. So if the neuropathy is due to like an impingement, entrapment, pressure on the nerves as it's exiting the spinal cord or the spine itself, then it minimizes that impact. One oil that we don't talk about very much that could relax the diaphragm, which then eventually relaxes the spine, would be Tolu balsam. Tolu balsam is actually very good for relaxing the diaphragm, but hyssop something that you usually have, or marjoram, so you could always work that.
Okay. So
Yeah.
would that work better than the lemon? Because you talked about the
You're
lemon.
doing two different things. Like
Oh, I
the
see.
lemon would just be about trying to elevate the pH. But honestly, like a single session with lemon, I don't know how effective that's going to be. I mean, usually when somebody has that issue, I have them take lemon daily for a very long period of time. And so I would probably ditch the lemon idea and just, deepen their breath, relax their spine, do the nerve help on the feet, and see how that helps. Usually when done over a period of time, like just this last weekend, I was somewhere and we were in person, and the person had pretty bad neuropathy. So I pulled out a bottle of nerve help and I go, just put a few drops on, and they put on like 3 or 4 drops and started rubbing it. Their neuropathy was in their arms. And they said, oh, that feels so much better. Like, and it was not even a lot of the oil yet. So it can be very helpful for something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then I have a client that has a fear of driving. Is there oil for phobia?
Was there an incident, or is there like an accident, or?
No, she's the one with the diabetes. I think maybe her eyes are not very well at night. She didn't say, she just said she's scared of driving.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure how to treat that. It feels like there's something more going on there than just like a phobia.
Okay.
Like there might be, like you said, like if she's having eyesight issues, it might be that, she has a real reason because she can't see. You could use something like benzoin just to have her inhale it while she's doing it. But if she has like a reason that causes that other than like a phobia of some sort, it's just always going to be there. Like if she has poor eyesight and that's what's causing it, I mean, you can minimize it, but poor eyesight's the issue.
So this is a general question. So would there be an oil for phobia in general?
Yeah, the stuff from the fear class. Remember the fear
Oh, fear
class?
class. Okay.
Mhm. I would combine it with doing 3 brain work, but yeah, you can undo phobias that way. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it would be the same for anxiety, right?
A lot of times with anxiety, if you treat the 3 brain, you know how we've been doing it, like sex, Ming solar plexus, back heart, brain, and crown, and using, you know, depends on where they're at. You could start them with spikenard or galbanum, but eventually maybe move them up to like aloes. That should reduce anxiety quite a bit. You know, anxiety again could be that she feels out of control, but like sometimes it's the breath, sometimes it's the glands, you know, sometimes it's psychological. It could be a lot of different reasons. But if you kind of start treating some of those things, that usually makes it better. And when you're not sure, go to the 3 brain technique. Like just go to the 3 brains. Because the thing with that is it will start making the body function better. And then whatever little issues you need to address makes it easier to treat those things.
Okay. And then I have a question about Bardo.
Okay.
So we do Bardo prayers for people who transitioned, who are transitioning.
Mhm.
Is there a Bardo for animals? Or do we use the same?
You could try using the same one. I'm not aware of there being one for animals. Probably the easier thing to do is before, during, and after, you know, you focus on the animal, and then do Om Mani Padme Hum very, very softly. Very, very soft, like you're trying to get a baby to go to bed.
Okay. Is there like how many times should I do that?
Depends on how anxious or traumatized the animal was.
I usually know about their passing like after the fact.
Yeah.
So
I would say, you know, give it a good 10 or 15 minutes, maybe.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes it only takes a few times of chanting the mantra. Sometimes it takes a little while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. And then I am brushing up on my crystals. So I was wondering if you could say a little bit about their properties and esoteric properties, maybe. I have a list. I won't go over all of it, but just maybe some of it. I'll do the common ones like amethyst.
How about you send me the list and I'll send you, because I
Okay.
can talk about crystals for a whole day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I think
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have some of it written up. So send me the list of the ones that you want, and I'll send you a list of the ones that I
Okay.
have. And if not, I'll write it up.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm interested in their spiritual and esoteric,
Mhm.
and I know they have physical properties as well.
Sure.
So
Yeah, yeah.
thank you so much, Greg.
You're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Megan, then Barbara.
Hey, Megan.
Hey, so I'm just doing, you know, my self-healing that I'm always doing. I was kind of checking in on my own cardiac system. I had done a treatment you suggested for a J, and it's helpful when he does it. But I tried camphor in a salt bath, and it felt awesome. I felt like
Yeah.
so just like
Yeah.
warm and fuzzy and circulation and like
Yeah.
relaxed in a whole different way that I loved. So just reflecting on like heart and circulation and, you know, things that affect the heart, cleaning my heart chakra, the protective web. Like, do you think there's a significant, like if you're, let's say, fighting with your husband, you know, like maybe I have a friend who might fight with her husband, it wouldn't be me.
Right.
If there's a lot of anger going back and forth, aside from
Right.
like the heart getting worked up because you're angry, do you also get a lot of projection in that area that's gonna then cause like
It's more that, like, you know, adrenaline goes up, and you know there's like some hormonal things, and then the heart starts beating faster, and so it's, the projections are there a bit, but it's probably more a physiological response to those things. So like going through and doing the thing, because like even if you look at like camphor, like here's a good example, is very good for circulation of the heart. It's one of the things that's used to treat like some heart issues. Very good for circulation in the arms and legs, so you're starting to help peripheral circulation. But one of the things camphor is also good for is it increases the blood supply to the kidneys and calms down the adrenals. And so you're kind of calming the adrenal thing down, you're cleaning up the energy body somewhat, you're improving circulation. And camphor is very good for the heart, like camphor. And in really extreme cases, there's a certain chemotype of rosemary that has a higher camphor content, because camphor is not something you take internal. And so this rosemary camphor, it would be something that you would use for the heart. And part of it is because of its impact on the adrenals, and the other part is it just increases the function and the pumping of the heart. And so are we concerned for your friend, like blood pressure, or you just like pressure in the chest or anything of that nature, or
No, just like for my
just
education
maintenance
and
yeah.
also I just, after the camphor bath, I thought maybe I really need work on my cardiovascular because it I had such an
It feels
impact.
good.
I try a
Yeah.
lot of things in the
Yeah.
bath and I usually don't feel anything. I just am like, yeah, it's nice.
So this is like, if you wanted to tweak that, like still do a camphor bath, but then like take a couple of drops of helichrysum, or put a few drops of helichrysum on the chest. And the reason being that the helichrysum, it's like it makes the fluid like less viscous, and so it makes the blood going to the heart like more penetrating, and it makes it easier for the heart to pump blood to the other parts of the body. But you don't want to go too crazy with it, like especially when you're combining it with like camphor and things, because you could almost, I mean, it's hard, but you can make the blood a little too fluid, and so then you'd start like bruising easy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so just a couple of drops is usually enough. But you can mix it with cypress sometimes. But if you're really getting in there to treat like deep-seated like stress in the heart or something like that, kind of the go-to things are like Melissa, Neroli, Lang on the body. Super helpful for that. Like
Yeah, I
helpful.
really love
Like you could do a camphor bath and then get out and then put a Lang body tonic on, and
yeah.
super soothing. And you're slowing down the heart rate, and not massively. So even if somebody's on medication, but it does reduce like tachycardia, which is like when the pulse gets up over 100. And so yeah, I would do stuff
Yeah,
like,
I did Lang for frustration.
yeah.
The kids, oh my God, I was like losing it. I was like a few weeks ago, I was just like gonna just scream in my pillow or just at someone. And I
Right.
went over and got my Lang and I did the organs of blood purification. I swear it felt like somebody took a hose of freezing cold water and just doused it inside
It
my
just
body.
chilled
It
you
was
out.
amazing.
So
It was gone. I felt great, like nothing happened.
So if you think about like when any sort of violet prana hits the body or the chakras, part of what it does is it regulates the sympathetic part of the nervous system, which is our fight flight, and allows the chakra or the system to function better. it's like the energetic way of saying it is it raises the vibration of the body. And basically what that means is your body's functioning better, it's able to heal at a faster rate. But if you look at, it's because the sympathetic nerves have calmed down and you're able to go deeper into fight flight, or excuse me, rest and repair, and out of fight flight. And so, lavender is good, acacia is really super good. Violet healer is really good, but just a good, inexpensive, like, gonna calm down the nerves, gonna calm down the reaction to either physical pain, psychological pain, being upset, being frustrated. You put Lang Lang on the body, and the body's just like, God, it's just so soothing.
Yeah.
And Lang Lang's got a lot of other prana in it.
Yeah. Okay. One more thing. Could you scan my amygdala and help me with a little bit? I'm using the Bacopa, but I'm not feeling like it's really calming it a ton. Maybe there's a better way for me.
Okay, so the amygdala is a little bit off. Do you have Sitka?
Yeah.
Do Sitka on the heart, like front and back heart, but mostly the front heart. Let's see what that does for you. I think that actually might be your ticket.
Cool. I love Sitka. I don't use it as much
Who
lately.
doesn't love Sitka?
Oh,
Literally crazy people.
oh my
Because
God.
Sitka is amazing.
Sitka, tarragon, and mugwort. I just inhaled the heck out of those for like a year. I mean, I worship them. I love them so much. Okay, I'm good. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Hey, give me a minute. I gotta go to the bathroom. Sorry about that. Okay, whoever's next.
Go ahead, Barbara.
Hey, Miss Barbara.
Hey there, I have a couple of questions, but since we're on a heart theme, I'll start with that one.
Okay.
I'm still having, well, I had the ablation in July and the blood pressure is great and I feel fine. My heart rate's taking a long time to come back down after pretty modest exercise. And it may be because I spent 9 months being afraid to exercise and gained some weight, and it may be a matter of time. But I was taking all these things you recommended beforehand, and I kind of backed off on most of them. So I'm just wondering what you might recommend. if
Okay,
anything,
so
for that.
when we say it's high, like post-exercise, like where is it at?
It's not that it's high, it's 90, 104. It's just taking a long time to come down.
Come back down.
Yeah, it's not going up to high levels. It just feels like it's staying up longer than I think it should.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that, like you said, there's the heart issue, but there's also, if you can get it to drop faster, you also recover faster. And then your exercise, as time goes by, you get more out of your exercise. And
I've been trying to walk a little faster to cut the amount of time that I take down to walk it's not long, it's 2.5 miles, but the heart rate recovery just doesn't seem where it feels like it should be.
Hmm. And what's blood pressure these days? Where's the blood pressure at?
That's pretty good. It's like 125/76.
Awesome. Okay, good.
I mean, it's a little higher right after exercise, but that's kind of where it's yeah, and I'm not even on medication for it anymore. I haven't since before the procedure in July.
Okay, so this is what I would do. Like, you could still use a little bit of Melissa or Neroli or something like that, but let's maybe try something a little different. And instead of using an essential oil, let's maybe have you look at using some form of coenzyme Q10. I usually prefer ubiquinol. It's a more easily processed form of coenzyme Q10, and given your size and everything, the gel caps can be quite large. I would say maybe 1 to 2. Like if you were bigger, I would say you could go bigger dosages, but the idea being that it's not that you're trying to calm the heart down, you're trying to get the heart to just function a little better.
Right.
And the increase in function actually usually will help the recovery. So like, people who have like congestive heart failure, I mean, I pour coenzyme Q10 down their throat. Like I just have them take big dosages. Cause I mean, I've had people who have had congestive heart failure for like 30 years and, we just keep giving them, big dosages of Q10 and, heart doesn't really, I mean, it stays pretty stable. And then like when somebody has like really severe like cancer issues and things, I do it just for like what it does to the metabolic processes that can get thrown off for cancers and things. But one of the other areas where I used big dosages of coenzyme Q10 was with athletes. And man, it helped their recovery. And especially like in endurance athletes, the more that you can get the heart rate to drop after like post exercise and then like improve their quality of sleep, they just recovered so much better. They got more out of their exercise, but it's almost like they shook off the exercise. It's almost like they weren't even tired and fatigued with all the exercise. And so I would say let's bump up coenzyme Q10 and then do like, is there something that helps you to sleep good? Like, is there something where you go, oh boy, when I do this, sleeping is amazing?
No, I don't know that I have. Sometimes I have trouble falling asleep. The last 2 nights since the class, I know there was a lot of dream activity and I wake up with a lot of energy in the temples and the band across, through the ajna across a little bit higher. I don't know.
Do you still have that, Melissa?
I still have some.
Let's have you do Melissa like right as you go to bed. Like 2-3 drops internally maybe, or like some Neroli, something that's just like relaxing, good for the heart, but also relaxing to kind of deepen the sleep process. You could also use spikenard, you could use vetiver, tarragon, something like that, and just let's see if a little bit deeper sleep helps you with the recovery process as well. So during the day, the coenzyme Q10, and then at night, just something that deepens your relaxation process. And given how good everything else is doing, I think that might actually regulate your heart rate. You know,
Okay.
if other things were out of control, I'd say, ugh, we're gonna have to go at this a lot of different ways, or you know, be a little bit more aggressive. But this just feels like a tweak rather than really having to go after something.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Someone's asking, sorry, with the ubiquinol, is there a certain time of day?
I would usually take it in the morning or the early part of the day. You know, if you take it at night, it's still fine, but I would take it at the early part of the day. You're going to be more active, so you might as well utilize it then.
Last question.
Sure.
Digestive Calm from some class,
hmm
and I don't even remember how we used it, but could you give a quick explanation?
So
on-
digestive calm does like it's very calming to a stress-plagued digestive tract. It relaxes the connective tissue that holds the organs in place. So it basically takes tension and stress out of the internal organs and the tissue that holds it in place. And it actually, even when you're applying it to your abdomen, you know, so usually we did it in like a body tonic or a liniment, but even if you inhale it down into the abdomen, it will also relax the psoas somewhat. So anytime you relax the psoas or the diaphragm or the throat, it usually takes body tension down quite substantially.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Troy.
Hey, Mr. Joy.
Let's get you unmuted.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Hey, yep. How are you?
Hey, I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing good. How's life
Good.
there out there in Austin these days?
Pretty good. Finally cooled off.
I know you guys get heat like nobody else.
Yeah, it was a rowdy one this year. So my question is about my mom, who is 84 now, and she is looking at doing like a procedure for her like prolapsed bladder. So the thing where they're gonna like put the sling around it to try to raise it up or whatever. Is there anything to do for that, or at least to like give her some relief with it?
I mean, that procedure is usually pretty good. That's going to bring her the most relief. You know, I've tried treating that over the years, and I can bring like a little bit of relief, but the surgery brings them substantial relief. So I would say just treat it like before and after with like how you would do any like procedure or surgery, where you know you give them galbanum like on the wrists and maybe some black cumin internally. If there is a little bit more pain, you could also add myrrh into that they just take internally. I mean, it's harder to treat something like that topically, so you just kind of do the things that you can do internally. But the surgery or the procedure is probably going to bring her a lot of relief.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about like in the meantime to help with the like frequent urination during the night, that kind of thing?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it is just like the nervous system can be overstimulated. I did this thing for a little while and it worked. It didn't work like massively, but it did reduce it somewhat. Do you have like some form of lotus?
I'm not sure. I'd have to check.
You probably have it in a kit of something. We can even try to find it for you or see what you got. And I would have her inhale lotus, and she doesn't even have to direct it, but the thing to do with that is while you're inhaling it, it starts to kind of regulate some of the circadian rhythms. And when it doesn't work every time, but when it does work, it does calm down that urgency to urinate. The other things are just things that can calm down, like sympathetic nervous system, things like marjoram or tarragon, lemongrass, things of that nature. It might help, but you could try putting some marjoram like in a ointment or tarragon in an ointment and rub it on her abdomen below her belly button. Have her just shake up the bottle and then rub it on like maybe a couple of times a day. That actually might help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I think we're trying to see if you got Lotus. I mean, I don't know that I would buy Lotus if you don't have it, but let's see if you have it somewhere and in what kit. And if you have it, it'd be something that I would try, but given the expense, I probably wouldn't just jump on and try it just to be trying it. I'd try those other things first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks so much.
You're so welcome.
And I'm just typing it in here. So these are the classes. Achieving the 4 levels of bliss, revitalizing the soul, and the journey within all had Lotus of some sort in the kit. So that's good for inhalation.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, y'all.
Yeah. And I'm sure you've had one of those classes. So yeah.
And let me just double check. I think that's all the questions for tonight. Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, so how about we'll do one of the empowerment techniques. What oil should we do, Miss Samantha?
Well, today being day 7 of our plant empowerment, let's see what we have on our list.
Funny. You're so funny.
For all of y'all who don't know, we're doing 30 days plant empowerment for this month of November. So put a link in here for you guys if you want to follow along.
Yeah, it's just a free thing that we're doing. And the reason that we're doing it is it's a great way to learn and connect with the oils, but it also makes the oils much more potent so that when you're doing the processes, you can produce a faster result in less time. So the stronger the connection to the plant, the deeper the therapeutic component, and the less time that you have to spend going through and working processes. So I would also say it starts to increase not just the potency of the physical components, but the physical, psychological, but the spiritual aspects that are associated with the plants are greatly enhanced by doing the empowerment technique. And we might be doing just a slightly different version that you guys have been doing, the ones that are practicing or that's in the book. So which oils are there?
So today, day 7 is a single oil. So
just how about this? Pick out one of your oils that you really like or that you're using to treat something you have a connection to. Something that you're liking to work. Okay, and we've done this a few times, so sometimes we do it more in like a demonstration or a teaching mode. This one we're gonna kind of fine tune it and really just, well, We'll see how it goes. So you have your plant. So close the bottle and just kind of hold the bottle in your hands. Your awareness is on your heart, and just kind of observe the plant. What you know of it, the smell, how it makes you feel. And now open up the bottle and just take some long, slow, deep breaths with it. And then cap it off and just observe it again. Notice how it made you feel right now. Notice how it impacted your mind, your emotions. And then again, open up the bottle and take some long, slow, deep breaths. And then close it again and observe it again. And you're going to take some long, slow, deep breaths right now, but not with the oil. You're just going to inhale through your nose, long, slow, deep breath, then pause for just a couple of seconds, and then gently exhale out through the mouth. Inhale through the nose, pause, exhale through the mouth, pause. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And then just be still. Just be still. Open up the bottle and inhale it again. And then just pause. Does the oil feel like it's changing? Are you noticing other things about the oil? Is it impacting you in different ways? We'll close the bottle again. Let's do those long, slow, deep breaths, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. You're not inhaling the oils, you're just doing long, slow, deep breaths without the oil. And as you do these long, slow, deep breaths, your awareness is on the tip of your nose. And then open up the bottle and just take some long, slow, deep breaths. And then be still. You're going to close the bottle again. And let's do a little experiment. Hold the bottle in your hand. Look at the bottle. The bottle is closed. You're not inhaling the oil. But as you look at the bottle, as you inhale, feel like you're drawing in the essence from the plant into the heart. And then as you exhale, just exhale out. Inhale the essence in. Exhale out. Inhale, drawing the essence in from the plant. And then exhale out. And this time you're going to draw the essence in, but as you exhale out, keep your awareness on the plant, and it's almost like you're breathing through the bottle, breathing through the plant. Your intention is not on the bottle itself, but your attention is on the bottle and then passing through the bottle, like to the back side of the bottle, and continuing moving further and further away. Okay. Just pause and be still for a moment. Undo the bottle and now inhale that oil, that same plant. And then just pause. How's that feeling for you? Now, you can either radiate from the heart, or you can hold the bottle in your hand like so. Place your other hand on top of it, and just think loving thoughts. Think happy, loving thoughts about the oil, about life, things you're grateful for. You could also say, may you be blessed with love and mercy, divine love, divine mercy. Think loving thoughts about the plant or just life in general. Open it up again and inhale. Is it changing? Can you feel a deeper effect? Okay, again, you're holding the bottle in your hand, the other one on top of it. Your awareness can be on your heart. And we're going to use the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi. It's a transmutation prayer. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Make me an instrument of thy love and peace. Where there is injury, I will pardon. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is despair, hope. Doubt, faith. Where there is sadness, joy. Let loving kindness prevail. Open the bottle up and inhale, and let's see what you notice. And just put the cap back on it for a moment and notice how you feel. Let's take the bottle like so and hold it up to the area between your eyebrows. And silently say, "Thank you for helping me to have greater soul contact and to accelerate my evolutionary process." Thank you for helping me to have greater soul contact and to accelerate my evolutionary process. Thank you for helping me to have greater soul contact and to accelerate my evolutionary process. So be it. So be it. So be it. Open up the bottle and inhale. And then just be still. Notice how the bottle of oil makes you feel as you inhale it. So you're going to hold it in front of you again. You're going to make that connection. You can breathe the essence into your heart and then breathe through it. Do that a couple of times. And keep looking at it. Let everything go except looking at the bottle. Now your awareness is on your low back, the Mingmen, the backside of the navel. You're still looking at it, and you're moving your awareness to the back heart, the area between your shoulder blades. From the top of your head, your awareness is on the top of your head. And then just let go. Just be still for a moment. Open up the bottle and take some nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Did something happen between you and the oil? Close your eyes again. Let go of the bottle. Put a cap back on the bottle. And just be still for a moment. Okay. So you're looking at the bottle. You're looking at it in front of you. Your awareness on your heart as you're looking at it. It's closed. You're not inhaling it. You're just looking at the bottle. Now, chin down to your chest. Inhale. Hold your breath. Head up. Exhale. Down. Inhale. 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 Up. Exhale. Just look at the bottle again. You're just observing the bottle. Let the imagery go down to your chest. Inhale, hold your breath, head up, exhale. Down, inhale, 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 up, exhale. Just be still. Just look at the bottle again. Open it up and take some long, slow, deep breaths. And then stop inhaling, pause and let go for a moment. Just be still. Your eyes are closed. Where do you feel something in your body right now? Do you feel it in your head, in your spine, your chest, your hips, your legs? Wherever you're feeling it, just keep your awareness on that spot for a moment. And begin inhaling the oil into that area. Wherever that area is at, you're inhaling the oil into that spot. And then pause and just be still. Keep your eyes closed. Re-examine the body. Where do you feel it in the body? Now, where do you feel it in the spine? Inhale with your awareness on the spine. And then just be still. Now just look at the oil again. How do you see this oil compared to 30 minutes ago? Does it feel the same? Does it feel a little different? We logically understand some of the, aspects of the oil. By going through and doing the plant empowerment, you start to get more of an intuitive imprint. When this intuitive imprint, you go past what it can do with symptoms and how it makes you feel, and it really starts to open up potentials of motion, of movement, of healing, of inner awareness, inner interactions, intuitive insight, flashes of wisdom. There's learning about the plant, and then there's getting to know the plant. It's like you just took the plant out for dinner and dancing, and you kind of get it to a little bit deeper degree. You get the personality of the plant. So let's go ahead and mute, and let's, if anybody wants to share an experience or two, let's go ahead and fire away. First off, Samantha, how was that for you?
That was great. And it was really great having the added materialization breath with the awareness on the body, the spine.
Mhm.
It literally felt like light was just like going right wherever the thought was.
Mhm.
It was really, really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the reason I asked Samantha is like she's been talking about wanting to do plant empowerment with you guys for a couple of months. And so, we're taking recordings, but it's really Samantha's little pet project that she's doing. It's a thing that she does and she loves it. So she wanted to share it with you guys.
And somebody was asking when we do this is just a self-directed practice. This is just you taking time. If you're signed up for our email for this month at 8 o'clock on Central every morning, you're getting a new, suggestion for an oil and a video. And then now we have this new video that will come out in one of the ones in the next couple days too. So this will add to the
And
mix.
we'll make a couple other like little new recordings for you guys so that we'll mix it up a little bit and take it a little deeper even from what we just did.
Any shares, any questions?
Like, how did the plant feel from the beginning, and then how did it feel at the end?
Yeah, go ahead, Barbara.
Hey there. I love your reference about taking the plant out to dinner.
Yeah, dinner, you're
There
maybe
was
flirting with it a little bit and winking at it and going,
there was a point at which I couldn't tell the difference between the bottle in my hand.
Yeah.
And by the end, it no longer was a bottle of oil. It was this divine essence flowing through me.
Yeah, it's like
Look.
you can really feel like how alive it is, or how much that it's like. For me, it almost looks like a motion of sorts that is in a bottle. Like when I pour it out, it's this motion that comes out. And it's a weird way to say it, but when I travel with the medicine man, we didn't do quite this process, but there was a lot of communication with the plants. And then there would be times of staring at the fire and then, handling the plant or holding it, to the heart, or or crushing the leaves and then inhaling it. Very similar to what we do, but when I was doing it, I was very young, and I approached it like a city boy, and when I walked away from that situation, I had an understanding or an experience with plants that like you just doesn't happen. It's nothing that you read in books, and it's it was a game changer. And people would ask me to explain it, and I was like, that was one of my old jokes. You just got to take sage to dinner. Like, you're not going to get it by me telling you like it has this property and that property. It helps. But when you start like really connecting with the plant, it does something to the psyche. It does something like, I don't know if you want to call it the soul or something, but it hits places that your mind can go to on its own.
Thank you for this.
Yeah.
And it's like the scent became more delicate as we went along, but the
And you notice
light
there's
and
like
the liveliness just kept expanding.
right. And there's all these like little weird nuances, like I didn't smell like, uh I'm trying to remember which one really blew my mind. But like there was all these nuances. It was like a heavy oil. I don't want to say it was vetiver, it was something else, but it had all these like light, like kind of citrus, like little supporting notes. When you smelled it, you didn't smell it. But like when you really bond with it, you're like, man, I get all these like kind of lemony, orangey kind of scents with it. And yeah, it's very interesting. Oh, it was fir. That's what it was. It was a fir balsam. And as I would do the fir balsam, I was like, I smell citrus. Like it was really weird, like a little bit of grapefruity, lemony, orangey. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
Yeah. Mm. We still have a few minutes if
So what
somebody
I'm hearing you say is we could do this with wine as well. Just hold up the wine, put it.
it's kind of the same idea. Like
Really connect. Any other shares, questions? I mean, I'm just so glad we did that. That was so fun. I think this is definitely not my first time I used the Amis, and every time I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this even more. I love this even more, but it did. It took on a whole other element of its potential. So that's really sweet.
yeah. My first couple that I did this with was one was vetiver, one was cistus. And to this day, like if somebody goes, what are your favorite plants? I'll go, well, whatever's in my hand, but I love me some vetiver. I love me some cistus. Yeah.
It's just next to me earlier.
Yeah. And then after that one, it was aloes, and then got to do Sitka. So Sitka was one of my early ones as well.
What's your favorite blend, guys? If you're joining us.
Yeah, and we just thought it would be fun for you
Yeah,
guys. And,
yeah. Someone said mugwort was my first.
oh yeah, boy, that's a good one. Yeah. It helps you to like really kind of appreciate it beyond just like, oh, I'm going to use this because I have a bug bite or my shoulder stiff. It's all of a sudden like I don't know, like even sometimes when we're doing Q&As, like how we're doing, you can tell people have like favorite oils. Like the one that jumps in my mind is, I could be wrong, but Ralph loves his white spruce. Like I'm there with spruces, but I could be wrong, but I would guess that was one of Ralph's favorite spruces or favorite oils is the white spruce. I mean, it's a solid choice. Who doesn't love some white spruce? White spruce and Sitka are very similar. Yeah.
I don't know, either we knocked them out or just blew them away.
Well, we're going to switch over to the Astara prayer petition blessing if you want to join us. It's a good way to get juiced up and cleaned up and then bless prayer petitions to generate some good karma and help other people. And if not, tomorrow's study group is open to everybody. And the weekend is the vagus nerve class, which a lot of you guys took. I mean, we had, that was one of the biggest classes we had all year. So, hopefully we see you with review in the vagus nerve class. We always tend to go a little bit deeper the second time around, a little bit more information. And so, yeah, that was a fun one. So take care.